I'm Atsushi. I'm a 27-year-old employee. He's Joji. We entered the company at the same time after graduating the same university. We never got along well with each other.
We're having a barbecue on the weekend. You should come along too, Atsushi. There'll be a lot of girls there.
I'm fine.
Why though? Are you being cautious? Don't worry. I won't be going after a girl you like anymore. That time too, the girl happened to choose me. It's not like I stole her from you, right?
He's talking about when we were students. He always kept going out on dates with the girls I had a crush on. He would ask me, "Do you have a crush on anyone?" A few days after answering this question, he would be dating her. At first, I thought it was a coincidence, but when the same thing kept on going on, I had to think it was on purpose. Even if I kept it a secret, Joji would look at which girl I was following with my eyes. He would even ask other friends to guess who I had a crush on. And then, he would ask them out before I would. Joji is handsome and well-spoken. Every single one of them became his girlfriend. I never confronted Joji about this issue. There was no proof that it was on purpose, and it would only make me feel pathetic by doing so. But once we started working together, on a night he was drunk, he told me that it actually was on purpose. He told me he wanted to see me upset. We didn't really get along in the first place, but this made me really dislike him. I'm not in need of a girlfriend. Just stop asking me anymore.
With that kind of attitude, you'll never be able to get married.
This is the way Joji interacted with his boss and junior coworkers. Therefore, people at our workplace didn't like him. But apparently, one of his relatives is one of the upper echelons, so the boss is always kind to him. Also, Joji looks down on us, but always sucks up to our senior coworkers. I knew that I would be in big trouble if I got into a fight with him, so although I was frustrated, I never did anything about it. One day, Joji asked me to come to a mixer.
We don't have enough guys, and our senior coworkers will be coming too. I don't know what they would say if I turned them down. You don't want to get in trouble either, right? You have to come. It's already been decided, okay?
So, it's mandatory. I had no choice but to go. I wasn't intending on staying for a long time. I was thinking of an excuse to leave early. But then, I met the love of my life. It was a mixer with coworkers from another division, but Ai-san, a new member of the company, was really my type. Once we began talking, we found out that we had the same hobbies too. Ai-san, why don't we eat lunch together someday?
Really? Can I bring along a friend with me?
Yeah. That's how me and Ai-san became friends, and we began to talk during breaks. Ai-san never turned me down, and eventually, she stopped bringing a friend with her. I must have a chance! On that evening, I decided to ask her out for dinner. I had made up my mind to ask her to be my girlfriend if things were going smooth. But when Ai-san came out of the company, Joji was with her.
Oh, Atsushi-senpai! Joji-senpai and I were about to go out to get some drinks. We're going to check out a place where we'll be taking our clients out for dinner.
Why don't you come along with us?
I'll pass.
Is that so? Well, good work then.
All I could do was look at them walking away from me. The next morning, Joji came up to me with a smirk on his face.
Oh, by the way, were you thinking that you had a chance just because she was accepting to go to lunch with you? She just couldn't say no because you're a senior coworker. Man, it's hard to deal with unpopular guys like you.
You knew that I had a crush on her? Was this on purpose?
Huh? It's not like you were her boyfriend. Why didn't you ask her to be your girlfriend faster if you were going to get so upset? By the way, today I'll be going out with her again, so don't be waiting for her at the entrance, alright? Oh, and don't do anything foolish, even if you're mad. If you do, I'll tell my uncle to fire you.
I was so angry. I tried asking Ai-san out for a couple of times, but each time I would try to do so, Joji would interfere. After a while, Joji told me that they officially became a couple, and all of my chances disappeared then and there. Apparently, Joji and Ai-san were in the same division when they began working here, and Joji was able to keep the conversation flowing by asking Ai-san about her coworkers. I'm upset, but I couldn't do anything if Ai-san had already chosen Joji over me. Joji kept on saying stuff like,
I'm so happy to be able to date Ai-chan. She's so cute when she tells me she loves me.
I really wanted to punch him in the face. But, of course, I didn't want to get fired for beating up somebody, so I tried to forget about it by concentrating on my work. I'm going to live for my career. However, focusing only on my job was stressful. One day, I was strolling around the city to release some stress on the weekend. That's when I saw a familiar face. It's Joji. Who's the person beside him? Could he be cheating? But she looks a little older. She could be his sister. And we're talking about him. He could have already broken up with Aisan and got a new girlfriend. I was fed up with everything. I decided to walk away and pretend like I didn't see anything, not knowing that this was going to cause a lot of trouble in the future. Half a year later, Joji handed me an invitation card to his wedding with a big smirk on his face. The bride was Aisan.
Gosh, should I have not invited you? I hope you're not holding any grudges anymore. It's been such a long time, right? You're a grown-up, right?
He was irritating, but everyone at our workplace were going, and not going seemed like I was admitting to my defeat. I decided to go. And the day came. There aren't many people.
I don't see anyone from Aisan's division.
The ceremonial hall was so empty. Even our bosses were looking confused. On that moment, when we were all looking around the hall... What? Why are there two brides? The doors were flung open, and we were surprised by what we saw. Two brides wearing a dress. In between the two, Joji was on the floor with a pale face.
Why? Why are you here, Nanami?
Oh, I heard about the wedding, so I thought we were getting married. I rushed all over here.
Stop kidding! I was going to marry Ai.
Huh? Joji-san, were you trying to marry me? Why were you off on a trip with Nanami-san then? You wouldn't go on a premarital trip if you were not getting married, right?
How do you know that?
We know everything. Ai-chan hired a detective agency to find out my number. She gave me a call 2 weeks ago. Since that day, we've been meeting up every day. As victims of a cheater, we became good friends. I always thought you were acting shady, and your stories didn't add up. I decided to do some research and found out that you were dating Nanami-san before you started dating me. I was shocked. There wasn't much time left before the wedding, and Ai-chan said she couldn't just cancel it without getting her revenge, so we came up with this plan. How was that? Were you surprised? I looked pretty good in this dress, don't I? Now what? Which one of us do you want to marry? Of course, I would have to decline that offer. Hey, I was thinking the same thing. I would also reject him.
You guys tricked me? What were you thinking?
No. What were you thinking?
Everyone there was in awe. Joji realized that we were all shocked. He came over whining.
Atsushi, you have to tell Ai that this is a misunderstanding. You must remember when I told you about how much I loved her. I truly love Ai, and I only. Nanami was upset that I dumped her. That's why she's putting on an act. Tell everyone the truth about my love.
I saw you and that person walking along happily together. I also know that you've been switching girlfriends all the time since you were in college. Sorry, but I can't help you. This must be your punishment. You have to suffer being held responsible for once, you piece of trash. Later on, my colleague told me that I looked like an Ashura statue when I was angry, because I hardly ever get mad like that. After that, Joji was scolded by his parents and relatives, and at the end, he knelt down and apologized. Obviously, the wedding was cancelled. He had to pay off all of the wedding fees, with an additional consolation money for the two. The reason why there weren't many people at the wedding was because none of Aisan's relatives were there. Apparently, she told them beforehand not to come. In other words, this wasn't a wedding venue, it was a revenge venue.
We'll be returning all of your gift money that you brought, including your transportation expenses. Sorry for causing all of this trouble.
All of the co-workers were sympathetic to Aisan. They were giving her kind words such as, "You don't need to pay us any transportation money. I'm sorry that you had to go through all of this." Joji was sent to another branch of the company. Initially, he was going to get fired, but his parents whined and begged. He won't be able to get hired anywhere else, nor pay the consolation money. So, he was sent off far away to the countryside. This branch was famous for employees who had a scandal to get sent to. It had names like Graveyard and Penal Colony. Once you get sent there, you can never get back into divisions with the flashy work, and you have to work like a slave without much of a salary raise until you retire. There were only crazy employees who worked there. They would force Joji to do their own work, and would scold him for no reason. Joji started to not show up, and eventually ran away. But then again, nobody would let him go like that, right? I heard from an information-savvy colleague that Joji was found by his parents when he was out partying. Now, he's under the watch of his parents, working at a factory in the daytime, and working as a security guard at night, in order to pay off all of the fees. They say he even went to Aisan's home and shouted out, "Forgive me!" But he was brought away by the police in no time. Not cool at all.
You caused all of this. Now man up and pay all the bills. As for me, I'm just living a modest life, hoping that someday I'm going to meet the true love of my life. It's great to know that Joji isn't around to get in my way anymore. But for now, I'm putting in work to have a successful career.